Miguel. Welcome to Math Your Way. Today's lesson is on solving quadratic equations using quadratic formula. A quadratic equation will be written as ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. It makes an equation because you have an equal sign, and you want to make sure that your equation is equal to 0. So if it's not equal to 0, make sure you get everything on the correct side. This is the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. This is what we call the discriminant. This will determine whether or not your number is imaginary or it's a real number. Today we'll only be dealing with real numbers. But if this comes out underneath the square root is a negative number, then you know you're going to be dealing with imaginary numbers. But for the purpose of this video, you're going to be dealing with real numbers. Alright, so we have our equation 2x squared plus 2x minus 5 equals 0. As you can see, it's written in quadratic equation. It's written as a quadratic equation. So what I like to do to solve my problem, I start with write down what my a, b, and c is equal to. So my a is equal to 2, my b is equal to 2, and my c is equal to negative 5. Then I like to do a little chart to make it a little more simpler for me, instead of just plugging it all in and, getting a little messy. I do my chart. So I write negative b, then I write b squared minus 4ac, and then 2a. So I do that. Now I plug everything in, so I'm going to start with this one. My b is 2, so it's negative b, so it would be negative 2. My b is 2, so it's 2 squared minus 4 times a times c, and my a is 2, and my c is negative 5. So make sure you're following along and writing as I write, but pay attention to what's happening, so when it's time to do the next problem, you'll be able to do it with me, and then the third problem you'll be able to do on your own. And if at any point you get lost, pause, rewind, just take your time. This is up to you. It goes at your pace, and just take your time. So now that we have written this, we're going to do our Pemdas. Okay, so P-E-M-D-A-S. Do we have any parentheses? Yes, we do. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Okay. Do we have any, so I'm going to just put this as negative 4 times, you can write it as parentheses again. It doesn't matter. So do we have any parentheses? Yes, we do. Negative 4 times negative 10 is positive 40. And then, do we have any exponents? Yes, we do. 2 squared is 4. And do we have any multiplications? No. Do we have any division? No. Do we have any addition? Yes, we do. 4 plus, that's supposed to be 40. 4 plus 40 is 44. So we know what that is 44. And then 2 times a is 2 times 2, which is 4. So now that we have done our chart, we can plug it in. It's easier, it's simpler. You are able to plug it in with ease. So now we plug it in. So we have negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 44 over 4. So what I like to do with my square roots is I like to simplify my square roots. So I like to figure out what the square root of 44, and if anything can come out of that, I like to go ahead and simplify it. So I'm going to erase this, and we're going to simplify the square root of 44. And anytime you do this and it's not a perfect square, You can see if there are any other numbers in there that's double that you can take out. So we have 44, and if you don't know, at the end of this video I will add how to take the square root of non-perfect squares. So square root of 44 is 4 times 11, and 4 is 2 times 2. So these are all my prime numbers. I do have one set of 2's. So therefore, since I have 2 of those, I can take one of them out, and I leave what's in the inside that's not circled. So it's 2 square root of 11. So to find the square root of 44, we get 2 square root of 11. So now I'm going to replace that with my 44, and I have negative 2 plus or minus 2 square root of 11 over 4. We can simplify this even more because we have 2, 2, and a 4, and we can simplify this by taking a 2 out from top and bottom. And what I mean by that is, if I take a 2 from the top, I'm left with negative 1 plus or minus square root 11. And then if I take a 2 out of here, I'm left with just 2. And these simplify. 2 over 2. You cross those out, so you're left with x equals negative 1 plus or minus the square root 11 all over 2. And remember, that's an imaginary 1. And if I put this 2 back, I would get 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And 2 times this imaginary 1 gives me 2. And then 2 times 2 is 4. So I was able to take a 2 out of top and bottom. And I'm left with negative 1 plus or minus imaginary 1 square root 11 all over 2. And that's your answer. So let's try another one together. Okay, so the second problem is x squared minus 4x minus 21 equals 0. So what we will do now is write our a equals 1, our b equals 4, and our c equals negative 21. I do my chart. Negative b squared minus 4ac, and 2a. So negative b is negative 4, because b is 4. B squared is 4 squared, minus 4 times 1 times c, which is negative 21. And my 2 times 1 is a. All right. So now that we have that written down, we will now do our Pemdas because it's already solved. And so P-E-M-D-A-S. Do we have any parentheses? Yes. 1 times negative 21 is negative 21. Times 4 minus 4 squared. Then we have more parentheses, so 4 times negative 21 is, let's see, 21 times 4. 4 times 1 is 4. That's 84. So we'll have negative 84. And then 4 squared. Then we have exponents, yes. 4 squared is 16. And we know a minus negative is a positive. So 16 plus 84 is 100. So that's 100. And all we're doing is Pemdas. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. So we did not have any multiplication. We did not have any division, but we had addition, and we did not have any subtraction. So now that we have that, we know what our stuff is, so we can plug it in. So that's what I'm going to do. So negative b is negative 4 plus or minus the square root of 100 all over 2. Okay? So I'm going to erase this. Remember, we said we have to look at our square root and simplify. So the square root of 100, this is a perfect square, so that's easy. We know that's 10. So we plug it in. X equals negative 4 plus or minus 10 over 2. But guess what? We can simplify this. 2 can go in each one of these. So I'm going to take a 2 out of top. Negative 2 plus or minus 5. And I still have 2. So therefore, this simplifies. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So we're left with x equals negative 2 plus 5, and x equals negative 2 minus 5, and we can simplify that. Negative 2 plus 5 is 5 minus 2, which is 3. And negative 2 minus 5 is negative 7. So those are my two answers. So this one you're going to try your own. You have negative 3x squared plus 12x equals negative 1. Go ahead and pause the video and try this one. Now that you're back, let's discuss this. We have, it's not written in quadratic equation form. Therefore, we need to make sure that our right side is equal to 0. So I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So now I have negative 3x squared plus 12x plus 1 equals 0. My A is equal to negative 3. My B is equal to 12. And my C is equal to 1. I am going to write my chart. B is negative 12. B squared is 12 squared minus 4 times negative 3 times 1. And 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. 12 times 12 is 144. 4 times negative 3 is negative 12. But it's a negative, so that becomes positive. So we have 144 plus 12, which gives me 156. All right, so now we have 156, we have negative 6. I'm going to plug this all back into the original formula. So negative 12 plus or minus 156 over negative 6. Well, this now we have a square root of 156. Remember, with that, we have to find our prime numbers. And so I'm going to start with 2 and 78. Then I'm going to do 2 and 39. And 39 is a prime number, so we can stop there. So we have one set. So this equals 2 square root of 39. So I'm going to replace that. Instead of writing 156, square root of 156, I'm going to put 2 square roots of 39. So we have negative 12 plus or minus 2 square root of 39 over negative 6. So now that we have that, we can simplify. Since all of these are even, we can take out a 2 from the top. 2 to, so when we take out a 2, we're left with negative 6 plus or minus square root of 39. And if I take out a 2 right here, then I'm left with negative 3. And I can simplify that by crossing those out because they 2 divided by 2 is 1, so we don't have to write 1. So we're left with x equals negative 6 plus or minus square root of 39 over negative 3. So please like, subscribe, and share this video. I know solving quadratic equations is very long and tedious. However, take your time, and if you take your time, things will work out and it will pay off. You just have to go through all the emotions and all the steps, and you have to practice to understand how to do these problems. It does take a while to solve quadratic equations. However, once you get the hang of it, you will be good. So practice, 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 and thank you and have a good day.